Okay, number 16. Suppose the fatality rate of coronavirus is 2.7%, deaths among all the patients infected. Okay, in other words, of all the people infected with this virus, 2.7% of those will end up dying. If 1,215 patients have died of the virus, how many patients are infected with the virus? All right, so again, try to figure out what this percentage is. Do not calculate 2.7% of 1,215 people, right? What we are given is that 2.7% of what is 1215, because that's what the question says. If 1,215 patients have died, and that happens to be 2.7% of all the patients infected with the coronavirus, then how many people were infected, right? So what you have to do is to divide 1,215 by 0.027, right? You have to convert 2.7% to this decimal, which is 0.027. Right? So what's the answer to number 16? If you do this calculation, you get 45,000, and this will be your answer. Number 17, a real estate investor bought a building for $2 million. He sold it for 3.5 million. After 10 years, he bought it back for 7 million. He sold it for 10 million. How much did he make in these transitions altogether? Remember, we did a problem like this in our lecture, and I think there was a question like this in your homework as well. And it turns out you can consider these transactions separately. In the first half, on the first part, this investor made 1.5 million, and then in the second set of transactions, this investor made 3 million. So altogether, the investor made 4.5 million, and that would be your answer. But if you're not sure, because several buying and selling processes were involved, you can start with a fixed number. What would be a good fixed number here? You can start with 10 million if you'd like. You don't have to do it this way. You know the answer already, 4.5 million. But you can start with 10 million. All right. This person bought the house or the building for $2 million, right? So now, after the first purchase, the investor has 8 million, but he sold it for 3.5 million. Now he adds 3.5 to 8 million. That's $11.5 million that this investor has. After 10 years, he spent $7 to buy the same building or even different building. Okay, so if you subtract 7 million from 11.5, you get 4.5 million. And then he sold it for 10 million, so he adds $10 million to this balance, and he ends up with 14.5 million. Now, if you start with 10 million and you end up with 14.5 million, you know that the answer is $4.5 million. This is the net gain by the investor. So that is the answer. Number 18, suppose there are 5 million $1 bills. Lots of bills. That would be $5 million, by the way. And you can count $1 per second. How many days would it take to count the bills? So you have 5 million. And you would to do what? Oops. Okay. What you are supposed to do is to find the number of seconds. Okay. So basically 5 million seconds is how many days, right? So you realize that you have 60 seconds to a minute, and 60 minutes to an hour, and 24 hours to a day. So the question is how many days? So this will give you the answer. 5 million divided by 60 times 60 times 24. And the answer is about 57.87 days. You can say about 58 days, and that would be fine. Number 19, given that 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers, which is true, by the way, how many miles is 42 kilometers? If you're wondering why 42, because the answer to the question of the universe is 42. The answer is 42. That's from the what? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Actually, 42 kilometers is just about the distance of a marathon. Okay, so how many miles does a marathon runner run? That's the same question, right? So all you have to do, well, okay, so 42 kilometers, right? You divide it by 1.6 kilometers, and that's going to give you a number that's smaller than 42 because that is the correct thing. Now you could actually do something like 42 kilometers. You'd have, let's see, 1.6 kilometers and 1 mile, right? Because this whole thing represents 1 mile over 1.6 kilometers, and the kilometers units disappear or cancel each other, and you will end up with number of miles. So that's okay too. So yeah, right. This is the same as this. And the answer here, if you divide 42 by 1.6, you get 26.25. And that's in terms of miles. A marathon runner runs a bit over 26 miles. Number 20, what number is each of the following in English? 10 to the third, that's 1 followed by 3 zeros, and it's called 1,000. Okay, 10 to the 8, that's 1 followed by 8 zeros. All right, so that's okay. One way to think about this is 10 to the 6th is a million, and so you have 2 more zeros, so that must be 100 million. And so in English, you would read this as 100 million. You should say 100 million. And then 2 to the 12th, this is the one with 12 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so what is that? Well, over here is a million, and this is a billion, and so this is 1 trillion. Okay, so be familiar to so that you can read and understand these numbers. All right, we'll go to the next segment to start number 21.